This is my Dr. Lady at the End of the Day podcast. I'm Camille Carter. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, board-certified obesity medicine specialist. I'm a mom and a small business owner. And at the end of my workday, these are a few moments I take to talk through things that are on my mind and that are coming up again and again in our collective conversations, both in medicine and outside of my office. And today I want to talk about nutrition, specifically the so-called new U.S. nutrition recommendations and why so many people are reacting strongly to them. Let me start by saying something super clearly. There is a lot in these recommendations that is good. The emphasis on whole, fresh foods and the recommendation to decrease ultra-processed foods is absolutely the healthiest thing. Fruits, vegetables, foods closer to their original form, fewer packaged items with added sugars. This is solid evidence-based guidance. And truly, I'm glad people are paying attention. I'm glad nutrition is being discussed. But here's the thing we need to acknowledge if we're going to be really honest about this. This isn't new advice. This is what many clinicians, dietitians, and public health experts have been saying for years. So, if the guidance hasn't fundamentally changed, we need to ask a harder question. Why hasn't it worked? We can't talk about nutrition without talking about context. First, there's food access. Many families live in areas where affordable, fresh food is not easily available. That's not a personal failing on their part. That's a systems issue. Second, food insecurity, not knowing if you'll reliably have enough food. That's an issue. When food feels uncertain, the priority becomes the calories, cost, and shelf life, not ideal nutrient profiles. And then there's the factor that is almost always ignored in national nutrition messaging: time. Whole, fresh foods usually take more time to plan, shop for, prepare, and clean up afterwards. Parents today are under enormous pressure. Financial strain, long work hours, childcare logistics, mental load. Asking families to just cook fresh meals without addressing that reality is not only ineffective, it can feel dismissive. If we want behavior change, advice has to match real life. Otherwise, it becomes another thing people feel like they're just failing at. Now let's talk about the carbohydrate discussion, because this is where a lot of people's concerns are valid. While the written guidance talks about limiting refined carbohydrates, the upside down pyramid visual places grains in the sparingly category. And visuals really do matter. So it makes sense that people walked away thinking, oh yeah, I guess carbs are bad. And here's where I want to be really clear also. Carbohydrates are not optional fuel. They are a primary energy source for humans and especially for children. The brain runs on glucose. Growing bodies need accessible energy. The issue has never been carbohydrates as a category being the big problem. The issue is refined, highly processed carbs that are low in fiber and low in nutrients, and they just crowd out other foods. If there's one thing I wish were louder in this conversation, it's the discussions about fiber. Fiber supports gut health, blood sugar regulation, cholesterol balance, fullness, satiety, and long-term metabolic health. Most children and adults do not get enough fiber. So instead of eat fewer carbs, a more accurate message that could be shared is eat carbohydrates that come with fiber. That means fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, oats, whole grains, potatoes with the skin, corn, foods that actually do work in the body. Another area where I have concern is the strong cultural signaling around red meat and beef tallow. Yes, healthy fats matter, but not all fats behave the same way in the body. Saturated fats tend to raise LDL cholesterol. Monounsaturated fats like olive oil are more heart protective. Polyunsaturated fats, including omega-3s, support brain and cardiovascular health. When guidance emphasizes saturated fat heavy options without clear guardrails, we should expect consequences. And as a pediatrician, I'll say this really plainly, I'm already seeing changes in lipid panels in otherwise healthy children that mirror these trends, which didn't start just when these guidelines came out. They've been going on for a couple years. And that concerns me when we see this starting at such young ages, what that means for their heart attack and stroke risk in the future. Another thing to talk about is protein. Protein does deserve emphasis, but protein is not synonymous with meat. Beans, lentils, tofu, edamame, nuts, and seeds are excellent protein sources and deserve more attention, especially given cost and accessibility. And yes, dairy is emphasized again. Pediatricians have been recommending dairy for children and toddlers forever, so there's a bit of irony watching cultural opinions swing back and forth about this. But we also have to acknowledge that a significant portion of the population is lactose intolerant, so flexibility matters. And good nutrition guidance should allow for different bodies and different needs. So what can families do without totally burning out? Here are some realistic, doable strategies. Frozen vegetables do count. Canned beans do count. Bagged salads count. Ask, where's the fiber, instead of fearing carbohydrates. Add before you subtract. Add a fruit, add a vegetable, add beans. 2 real food dinners a week is a win. Build from there. Use bridges, rotisserie chicken, frozen grains, pre-cut produce. Remember, kids need fuel. Balanced meals matter more than perfection, and progress beats perfection every time. So yeah, for sure, we should keep encouraging whole, fresh foods. But if we want people to succeed, guidance has to be paired with access, affordability, time awareness, and compassion. This conversation isn't over, and it shouldn't be. I'm really looking forward to continuing it, including sitting down with a local dietitian who's on the forefront of these discussions, working every day where evidence meets real-world food choices. Because the best solutions don't come from diagrams alone. They come from collaboration and honest conversation. Our overall health isn't built in ideal scenarios. It's built in real kitchens, with real families, on real budgets, in real life.